guys. Welcome. Another Wednesday, another bootcamp. Let me just close this off. Animation was also something I wanted to learn, so I'm sure today will be funny. Yes, I hope so. I think it's very fun. So, and we're gonna start on the basics and try to do something insane. So it's gonna be very, very fun. Looks like I came back just the right time. Yes, perfect timing. Hello, everybody. Many people today. I love it. While we wait for the last to join, I will introduce myself as always. For those of you who don't know, my name is Oliver, and I'm a fourth semester student. I'm the fourth semester student. I don't know why I said the. I am a fourth semester student here at CADA, and I'm almost done with my fourth semester. Actually, we're doing our exam project next week, and today I will be instructing you how to animate in Blender. So I'll not show you how to rig a character, like how to make your own rig, but if you have a rig, what do you do with it? How do you move it? How do you store keyframes and make it move by itself with the software? So that's the plan for today. And we're gonna try and do advanced jump. So like a backflip is the idea. If you get lost, as always, type in the chat. Let me know. Write me. Whatever you need. If you have any questions in general, just text me. I keep looking at the chat, and we'll take it from there. I don't want anyone to get lost. I'd rather go back and help you guys. Hello there. All good. Yeah, for sure. How many semesters is a degree there? It's a diploma, so it's 7 semesters, 3.5 years in total. So I'm a bit over halfway now. Okay, so the first thing, guys, is I'm gonna send you a link to a rig. It's called the ball backflip anim with this ball legs rig here. So make sure you download it, open up the scene, and I'll give you guys a minute or two for that. 6th semester graduation. Oh, nice. So you're doing like a bachelor, writing a bachelor, doing a bachelor project or something, I imagine. And then internship next year, maybe. Awesome. I hope I will be doing a internship next year, but I don't know yet if that's gonna be a thing. So cross fingers for me. Oh, masters next year. Awesome. A lot of school. Okay, once you open up the scene, I know you haven't done it yet, but once you have, you should have something that looks like this. And as always, I will show how to navigate the scene. And then we will cover how to manipulate stuff, how to move, how to rotate. And then lastly, I will show you how to then do an actual animation. Let me just see. Wait. Yeah. Okay. So first off, you have a lot of stuff here. You can close them on this arrow until you see your camera, and that you can click on the visibility here, so it's not going to be in your face. That might be annoying if you don't want it. So I just unclick this. And to rotate around the scene, that's the first thing we want. Wait, where's my, sorry, where is my extras? One second, I have to find. There we go. Okay, if this is not turned on over here, you can go to this arrow and click on the navigate. It's gonna bring up your navigation tools, which can be kind of handy. So to rotate around, you hold middle mouse button, and you can see on my left here that this is what I'm clicking as well, middle mouse. and I rotate. You can also go up here and left click to rotate around the world. So if you don't have a mouse, for example, but I usually just use my mouth. My mouth. I use it for other things, but not that. That would be silly. So to that was weird. Sorry. To pan around, moving on, I hold Shift and middle mouse drag. So I'm gonna look from the same view and just move my screen. You can also left click on the hand here, do the same. So middle mouse or Shift middle mouse. And lastly, we have the zoom, which is the scroll wheel or the control middle mouse. Or you can use the zoom here. Yeah, I'm in a good mood today, guys. Hey, Katrin, welcome. So control, middle mouse, shift middle mouse, or middle mouse. That's all you need. So next up, we need to be able to manipulate our little guy here. So if you're not in pose mode, let's say in object mode, they don't have colors, you can click on one of these controllers and you can click here and go to pose mode. And as the name suggests, that's why you pose your character. And you can do stuff with it, right? Which is what we are going to. Sun is shining in Copenhagen. Yes, it is. It's lovely. Okay, so let's just play around with, let me see, with this controller here first, which is the torso. So if you click on it, it's gonna light up green, and then you can click G to grab it, and then you're able to move it. Now, if you wanted to snap back to what it was, you go to right click on your mouse, and it snaps back. If you want to accept, you click left click. If you then still regret it, you can do the good old trusted Control Z, which you're gonna use a lot, because this might not be the pose, so I wanna go back and do it again. Okay? You can also lock your grab in an axis. Let's say I want to make sure I move him exactly straight vertically, yeah. If I just do this, I might move, you can see I move him a bit sideways as well, and that is not what I want. So the straight up axis is the Z axis. You can see that up here as well. You have the blue Z. So I click G and I click Z, and it's gonna lock it here. No matter where I move my cursor, it will only move him in that direction. You can see it's perfectly straight. And that also works with the X and the Y. And you can just click them. You don't have to click G again. And that makes it super easy for you to manipulate stuff and move it in the world along a certain axis. Okay. You can also rotate. That's the same principle. You click R. If you just look from your point of view, it's going to rotate from there. So it's going to be all weird now. But I can rotate around Z or X. It's going to do a little dance here. Or Y, which is all about those hips. I danced samba not too long ago, and this was basically it. Just wiggle, you know. So that's basically all you need to know. You can also do scale, but we're not going to do that today. So G to move, R to rotate, and then you lock them to whatever axis you can be using. And I will say this many more times when I do it, and then you can try and follow along. So if anyone has any questions about any of this, let me know, because then I'll be moving on to how to do a keyframe. And then we're going to look at a little reference on a backflip, and we're going to do a backflip, because then we have the fundamentals ready. We have something we want to make, and then we're going to try and make that if we can. So to how do you lock the R or G? Again, you click G, and then you click Z or Y or X, and it's going to move in that direction. So you lock them by clicking, I click R, and then right after that I click one of the axes I want to lock it to. So to put a keyframe, it's super simple, but it doesn't really make sense. You click I to insert keyframe, and in your timeline here you can see it spawns some dots. So right now we have stored the position of our character on that time. So that means if I move 10 frames forward and I click G, and left click and I move, it's gonna snap back to the last recorded position. Because I did not set a new keyframe, this is where I will store. So let's say I want to animate him doing a squat, going down his knees. I will then move 3 frames forward, for example. I'll click G, 3 frames. So I'll click G and set and make him squat. And then I click I to insert. So now we've animated him. Okay. If I want him to jump up, I can go forward again. Let's do 4 frames. T and Z. And do this. And then click I again. If I play, he'll do a squat. Okay. So the I is for insert keyframe. Now, sometimes it's a bit tedious to remember to click I all the time on the keyboard. And it's also weirdly placed on the keyboard. I'd usually use something else. We aren't there yet, but last time I trouble accessing the keyframes of a chosen axis. There was some button to that too, but I forgot what it was. No, how else to explain it? Keyframes of a chosen axis. Yes, it's if you select something, you can open up these, and you can then see which if it's the location, the rotation, or the scale, Elena. That's here you can highlight it, and you can hide what you're not using. But we're gonna go to the graph editor later, and you're gonna be able to see it better. But we'll get to that. Don't worry. Okay. One thing, because it's like I said, it's tedious to do this. I usually have this guy turned on, which is the auto keying. So if I move, let's say 4 frames forward, and I click G and Z, and I left click, it will automatically store keyframes for me. So I don't have to remember it all the time, and then I do a lot of animation, and then it's not stored because I forgot to click I. So I would recommend having this on, but do note that whenever you do, it will do keyframes for it. I can't see the rig when I append. You don't append. Open it. Don't append it. I would say. Just open the link. I don't know exactly how brain cells for this one. Don't worry, it doesn't take that much brain cells. You just need to get your head around that. You have to make a key. One point in time, and another key in another point in time, and whatever you do between those, the software will try to interpolate whatever is in between. So we're basically skipping all the boring what 2D animators had to do. They had to draw every single frame when they animated. We can just do, 2 frames, and it's gonna give us all the rest, which is so nice. Okay, so if you follow along here and you try playing around with it, go to the first frame and select all your keyframes and click delete, because we're gonna start from scratch. And I will cover this again. I'm gonna say it again, don't worry. It's just to let you know what's gonna happen. And there's also a lot of controllers here. There's a lot of things you can touch. Don't touch it until we get to it, because it will just overwhelm you, even though it's fun to, move around all this. I know. But I'll tell you which controller to use, and we'll go from there. What's this? I don't even know. Okay, so let us open Google and let's search for backflip and go to videos and let's see a backflip.
Yo, Pierre, I want to learn how to do a backflip so bad. I'll teach you.
So he's gonna teach us, but we just need the lower part of whatever he's doing. So we just need to focus on this. So how he goes down his knees, the angle of his hips, and how he jumps, and the legs, I guess, right? So let's do it one thing at a time. Goes down, extends, and tucks his knee up. So I think we're gonna start with that, just to keep it a bit simple for everybody. So let's start with this same controller we used before, this green one right here. So the first thing I want is to create a key in the timeline. Because right now I have nothing. So I'm going to click I for insert keyframe. Then we want to calculate or guess how long it's going to take to go down on your knees. And I think 4 frames. Maybe it's too little, maybe it's too much, but we can always change it later. So it's just a random number I came up with. You can do whatever you think is fun, but if you're a beginner, I would suggest that you just do exactly what I do and then play around with it later. So in frame 1, I do a keyframe with I while holding my controller here. Then I go to frame 5 and I click G and set to do a squat. Now notice I don't go all the way down because this would be very weird. When you want to do a jump, you don't want to squat all the way down, then you don't have any power. So you want to go to where you're strongest and can generate most force, and then you want to go from there. So we go down, and oh, one more thing actually we need to do. Let me see something. There's one thing we need, and let me just find, because there's one thing that will cook you. So 1 second. I need to find it. Oh, why can't I do that? Edit animation. It's because right now this guy has IK feet and I don't want that. I want the FK. But I cannot see where to fix it, because it will make it a lot harder for you guys, and also for me, for that sake, if I cannot figure this out. Animation. So if any of you know, what I want to do is I want to find where I can change this guy's legs from IK to FK. And I cannot find it. I feel like it's usually... No? Properties. Ah, there we go. Okay. So what you need to do before I go further is you need to select the feet here, and you want to change it from IK1 to IK0. And the difference is that when you move it, you know, the foot will follow or not. So click on the foot controller here and go to up here. There's a little arrow, and you can also just click N on your keyboard. Go to item, properties, and turn this to 0. Very important, you do it on both feet. It makes me feel better knowing even people who know Blender still get lost. Yeah, don't worry. Yes, I will also say I usually work in Maya, so I feel like I'm pretty what's it called? I'm more skilled in that, but I have done this before. I just got confused where it was, but this is exactly how it would be in Maya, so that's no excuse actually. But yeah, make sure these are both 0. And you don't have to worry too much about it, but just know that when you move the whole character, the feet follow instead of being stuck to the ground like they would if it had value of 1. Now, the only problem is that when we go down, the feet don't stay. So what we actually need to do, and now I'm going to confuse you, I'm very sorry, because I got confused a bit myself, is that we need to animate this thing as well, which you can do. So we actually need to have it on 1 again. I'm sorry. You can see what happens when I do it. I am on frame number 5, which is where I have my keys. I select my 2 foot controllers, and then you right click on the IK properties and you insert keyframe. So now it's in IK. So when we want to jump, we want to remove it from the IK and go back to FK. Again, you don't have to worry about what IK and FK is. It's a whole thing, but just know that IK makes the feet stick to the ground, and not having IK makes them follow the character. So when we're in a jump, we of course want the feet to follow. When we're on the ground, we want them to be planted on the ground, which would make sense. If some are really confused, let me know. I understand. I'm very sorry. It's just when I usually just do this, and then now I have to explain it. So I get confused as well a bit. But going back to this controller, we need to do jump. So let's go to frame number 10. G and Z and move it up so this legs gets extended. You did something, I can't see the frames anymore. Are you sure it's not just because you haven't clicked on the right controller? Because if I click on this, I don't have any keyframes. If I click back on this controller, I have keyframes. So most likely it's just because you're not clicking on a controller with keyframes on. Or do you mean you cannot see this entire thing at all? Oh yeah, good. Awesome. Okay, so what we want to do now is, now we want to go to the feet here on frame, let's say frame 7. I want to set a keyframe on both. On frame 8, I want to change this to 0, like I told you, and set a keyframe again. And the same for this. So when he jumps, the feet follow, but when we're on the ground, they stick. All right, so if I play it, we should be jumping off the ground. Great. Now, what we need to do is, as in the video, you guys can just finish it while I show what we need. He shows that we also do a tuck like this. So we're gonna pull our legs up. Because we have a jump. How do you select both feet? I select them one at a time. I just click on this and I do it and I keyframe and I select the other one. So just click on them one at a time. That's the easiest thing. That's what I would do. Okay, to tuck our feet, we have 2 controllers. One is the IK and one is the FK. And the FK is the boring one that's just round. So we want to select these 2 on frame, the frame where we start jumping. Frame 8 is the one for me. I want to do an insert keyframe. On frame 11, I'm going to click R to rotate and X to lock it. Something like this. So now when I jump up, my feet are going to do this. But of course, we're not going to jump up with straight feet. We want it to bend. So we also need to bend the knees. So on down here on the shin, you have 2 controllers. And you want to again go to frame 8. I to keyframe. Frame 11. And then you want to rotate on the X to do this. So I'm going to show it again. I jump. On frame 8, I want to lock my controls on my legs. So this one and this one. This one, this one. I click I for keyframe. I move 3 frames forward. And then I first bend my upper leg, which was straight. So before I had like this. because I moved these guys first. Once I had that, I then rotated these two. So I end up with an actual bend. Okay. Which makes sense because we want to generate force so that they follow up that fast. That would make a lot of sense. Great. Let's go back to our tutorial on how to do a backflip. Maybe you're also gonna learn how to do it in real life. I hope you do. Make it big. Okay. Wait, it's too big. So let's see. He's doing a bridge. We're not gonna do that. Let's see. It's not a long video. Okay, hand backswing, not too bad. Now he's just going straight into it. Okay, that looks easy. So let's stop it right here. Oh, I'm too slow. Okay, so once we reach a certain point, we then start to rotate around our hips, I can see, while the knees are bent. And then we're actually gonna land with bent knees.
Yo, Pierre.
Trust me, you're never gonna learn this fast like he shows. You're gonna kill yourself. Okay, so back to our thing. At this point, we need to start rotating. Actually, we need to start rotating a bit before because we want to generate force. So I think when we're down in our squat, we actually want to be rotated slightly forward. Because you go down and you need to generate force to move backwards. So go back to the frame where you're down, frame number 5. Click R to rotate and X to lock it. Go a bit forward and let's see how this looks. Not too bad. Whoa, that looks funny. Maybe actually I need to do it differently. Maybe it should be this. No, I think maybe it's fine. Okay. So do this. When we're on, so frame 5, you want to be rotated forward. Maybe also moved a bit forward, G and Y. So you go down forward. On frame 8, you want to be rotated straight again. I might lock it. R and X to lock it. So the moment I am off the ground, I want to be extended again because then it doesn't look weird. And then on frame, what should we say? Let's just do a test with 15. Let's try 15. We can always retime it. I'm going to click R to rotate. X, I'm gonna do a full 360 like this, and I'm also gonna move a bit downwards and backwards. So click G and Z to move down, T and Y to move a bit back. So it should look something like this. And it's a bit fast. So if you think it's too fast, you can select all your keyframes on this controller. You can click G and you can move them a bit. Let's go to frame 18. So let's just click G and move it. Let's see. I think that's better. And to make it easier for ourselves, I think I'm gonna have my character land on the ground in this, because otherwise it's gonna be hard to time it later. So I click G and Z and R and rotate. So around here. And right now, he's not gonna land very well. It's gonna look super silly. And that's because we are using the FK. That means the controllers here. We're not using these two. So it's not gonna stick his ground to landing. So I'm gonna have to confuse you guys again. But we're gonna have to animate these controllers. So the frame before he lands, we need to key these ones. I will first move them. I will key them. And on frame 18, I will move them backwards, G and Y, right around where his feet is. I will then set the IK to 1 and click I to keyframe. So it should look something like this. That they're gonna snap here and he's gonna land his feet. I will show it again for those of you who got confused. So I have rotated and moved him so he's doing a backflip. Like this. I won't bend his knees. Like if you do this, it doesn't bend if you select this controller. And are you sure you turned off the IK? Because if it's in the IK, you can't bend it. It doesn't work. You need to be in the FK. Click on this and R to rotate. That should work with the knees. I'll show again. I go to frame 17 because he's done rotating on 18. I move both of these controllers. I click, shift click, G and Y to right around where his feet is. I click I to keyframe. Move one frame forward to frame 18. Oh, I might actually G and Y here. And then I set the IK to 1 and click I to keyframe. IK to 1, I to keyframe. So he's gonna stick his landing. Great. I think he's not jumping high enough. Actually, so I might. He's the highest at 10. At 12, I might have him go a bit higher. And a bit further back. And on 18, I might move him a bit further back, like this. Let's see. Okay, is it better? It's better. I think you should still jump it higher. So 12, I'm gonna lift him even higher. So I'm just tweaking a bit to make it look a bit more natural, because if he doesn't jump high enough, it's gonna look super weird. And these are also weirdly placed, I can see. Oh. Actually, I want them to be a bit further back. Even further, actually, like this. And then he should maybe be a bit further back himself. So now he jumps even more up or even more backwards, which makes sense. I think that's not too bad. Maybe it was a bit too slow now. Oh, it's not too bad. I actually kind of like this. I think the issue is the speed he jumps off from. We're gonna fix that later. Does anyone have any issues right now? Or do you all have like some kind of jump up and a land? Now's the time to tell me, because this is here we can look at it. So if anyone is ahead, you can tweak it a bit and make it look better. If someone's behind, text me and I'll help you. This is the time to make sure we're here, because now if everybody is with me so far, we go into the recovery phase, and we're gonna go into the graph editor to change the timing. And that will be a lot for some. So if you're not with me, you will die in the graph editor. So let me know how far you are. I mean, yeah, he jumps, but backflip is far off me. But it's okay, keep going, I'll fight this. Yeah, kind of looks like jump. Okay, I'll take it. Like, if you want, guys, we can actually do it a bit different today. So, for those of you who know, or those who don't, we have a Discord channel. And in here, you can find it in the link below, Discord, on a YouTube link here. There's a Discord channel, and you can go under 3D Bootcamp. And you can do a little screen recording of what you have so far. Throw it in here. Text me in chat that you have, and then I'll look at it, and I can tell you what you're doing wrong and how you can fix it for the rest of the class today. A nice Shrek word, Colin. I like it. It looks pretty good with the hair though. I love it. Okay, so throw it in here if you think you have something, but you need a tiny bit of feedback now. Because I can easily tell you what you should be doing differently, and then you can change it, and it's gonna, be easier for you going forward. So let me know in the chat how to record the current. I'll just use, I use the snipping tool, clip vector. I go to record, and I just, select, start, and then I record it. And then I go and I stop it and I'm recording. You can also find online recorder if you want. But something if you want to. I think it's called snipping tool in English, like this snipping tool. In Danish it's called klippeværktøj. And then you just go under the movie. Instead of the camera. Right. While you do that, I will go a tiny bit further, if anyone wants to, of course. And remember to write me if you have, because I can't look at multiple things. Because the last thing is not that hard, we just need a recovery. So if we look at our cool boys landing, let's see how he looks when he lands. So he lands, there's a short pause, and then he just stands up. So it's actually not that complicated. So land, maybe have a frame or two where you go a bit more down. So I go 2 frames forward from 18 to 20. I click G and Z to move a bit further down. G and Y to go a bit back. And R and X to rotate a bit up. To recover a bit. And then on frame 26, I'm just gonna reset the X. Oh, I'm gonna reset the Z. No, sorry, reset the Y. And set the rotation to minus 360. Boom. And maybe also click G and Y a bit. Like this. So he's gonna stand up. Okay, here actually I don't want him to go. Gonna go a bit back. Like this. So he's gonna stand up again. That's nice. Oh, some people posted. Let's see. Elena, let's see. Okay, that's fine. You have the jump first. Yeah, great. And you're swapping the IK perfectly. That's exactly what you need. No, that's exactly not what you need. You need to do the IK swap. I was confused a bit. So you need to make sure that you don't use these, but you take off the IK Otherwise, you're gonna have to animate the foot controller the whole way around the body, and that's gonna suck. You can do that, but that's just pain. So make sure when he lifts off the ground, the feet will not follow these controllers. And then you can just rotate on this guy. That's gonna spawn here. So do that. See, Lorena kinda okay, but I'll fail in real life. We'll fail in real life. We'll see. Yeah, let me see. Nice. You're doing a jump. Switching to the FK, nice. The only thing I think you should do is when you lift off the ground, make sure that he's straight before you're lifting. So if you look at mine, again, it's not perfect, but I wait until I should actually wait a bit longer, but until I'm straight before I lift off. And then we do it, because if you do it with a bend, that doesn't really generate force at all. So so the movement is, the timing is there. You just need to not have bent knees when you rotate. But the landing is also good. You do landing on the eye case again. It's great. Yeah, I think that's it. The timing we'll fix later. I just think if you do it with straight knees and maybe move him backwards a bit, because you generate force backwards usually when you do a backflip. Those two things will make it look a lot better. Let's see, Isaac. Let's see. Whoa. So you see you need to keyframe these two controllers to the same spot before he starts jumping, because otherwise he will have sliding feet. So at this point, you need these to stick to the same place. Don't know what's happening here. And then you need the knees to be bent a lot sooner. So when you jump up, you will have bent knees and be straight, and then you rotate with bent knees. But the idea is that you still snap it to the IK, just need to move them to a position that makes more sense, right? And the timing is a bit off, but the idea is really good. So just move your keyframes a tiny bit and make sure you lock the IK to not move until you're not using them anymore, until you're set them to 0. Yeah, cool. Nice sharing, guys. I like it. Yeah, I also think my animation is kind of done for the base. So you guys can do a little tweak of that. And maybe I kind of want to have him straight before he lifts off the ground. So I think what I will do is I will take these keyframes from frame 8 on my feet, and I will move them one. I'll probably say this is 1. Because then I'm going to generate more force. So yeah, something like this. That looks a lot more snappy, because he's fully extended before he lifts off the ground now. See this? And maybe I need to retime it a bit so it doesn't look that crazy. But it's a lot more powerful that he gets fully extended before lifting off. And then, okay, yeah. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to the graph editor, which is a dangerous place. Simba, don't go there. But it's okay once you get to know it. So you want to click on this little clock thing here and go to graph editor. Okay. And in the graph editor, you can move around the same way. if you hold control and middle mouse drag, you can make it bigger or smaller so you can see what you're doing. And when you select your stuff, you can see graphs are appearing. And again, you can hold control, control middle mouse drag to zoom in and out so we can see what is going on. And we can see that we're bending down and we're jumping up. And that is the red one here. That is our jump, basically. Let's see. So if I move this key here, oh, that's actually a rotation. Yeah, so that's why it goes this far. It's for the 360. And if this is annoying to look at, you can open up these tabs here and you can turn off the X Euler rotation torso, because then it might be easier to, you know, look at the rest over here. Because these are much smaller values. See all this. So this is my jump, the green one, the Y. If I move it up, he's gonna jump higher. And what we want to do in the graph editor is we want to push the graphs where we want stuff to be smoother when it's interpolated between the poses, or we want it to be more explosive. So when you do a jump, you don't slowly accelerate like this and build up speed like you're going a hill. You are, the moment you're setting off, you're building momentum, you're building power and speed. So to do this, you would then click on the end, the tangent here, and you would move it up like this. And you see now we have a more steep curve, and it would be much more explosive if I played it. That's a lot better. Oh, that's not, so you don't want to click on this. That's, if you take it off, you want to click on the visibility, sorry. Yeah. So right now I have a steeper and a jump, which is more explosive, but because I did this, this is going to be super weird because it moves on both sides. So I don't want that. What I can do then is I can click on my keyframe here, right click and go to handle type and call it free. And as you can see in the little thing here, it has like a sharp thing. So that means you can something. It has a. It shows that you can change them one at a time. So if I click on that and I then click G and move this, I can get my steep curve without affecting the other side, which will give me a more powerful jump. Maybe that's not what I want, but I can do that if I want. And this is kind of looking weird that we have a stop in our ascension. So I think I'll click on my first keyframe on the jump, move it up a bit. My second one, move that a bit to the side and a bit up. And then I want to make sure that I have this reversed U curve. Because when something is midair, you want it to have an arc where it's going up a tiny bit or it's falling a tiny bit. You don't want it to go weirdly or straight, or you always either going up or down. So the hang time should be a lot better now of my jump. So that's the power of the graph editor. You can really tweak how the computer is handling the interpolation between your keys. I can show how it would be weird. I would do, let me just, right now it's gonna be a jump where it's just, you know, going straight in midair. It's not right apparent. I can make it, now see it now. He's just standing still in midair and then falling down. And usually, it's not that bad in this case, but usually you want it to move more naturally like this. Now, the last thing of my jump here is that he's landing super softly. He's going down And you can see that the graph, you can see it better like this, is easing out. He's like, or slowing down. But when you're falling, you don't slow down. Your speed just increases exponentially. So we want to click on this last frame here before we land. Go again, right click, handle type and free. And this left side of our tangents, we want to move up like this. So you can see here it's getting steeper and steeper and steeper, and then we crash. Same if you were in skis and you just went into a tree. That's exactly what happened. You wouldn't slow down unless you braked, of course, but let's say you didn't see it. You just increase your speed and then get stopped. And that's what we want from a jump as well. Let me see. That's better. There's more impact on the landing. Like this a lot more. Maybe I want... Maybe I want this to be... Let me try. Let's see which one. Yeah, maybe this is better. Let's see how it looks like with half an IK here. I don't know what's wrong with this, but something wrong with it. I don't know. We need to delete this one. I don't know why this foot is acting so weird. They should be exactly the same. There's something wrong with the rig, I guess. Oh, fuck it, I'll just do this. Okay, so that's the idea with Node, with the graph editor. You change how you do things. So the last thing I want to show with this recovery is that I'm going down here. Let me just isolate these and move in again. So when we recover, we land and we go down a bit, and then we might want to spend a bit more time. So if I pull this guy here, move him a bit more down, you can see that we have a longer recovery before we slowly stand up. It's going to be longer time on his knees, and it's going to take a bit more time. It's not too bad. And next thing we want to look at is the rotation, the one I hit. So I'm going to unhide that. It's going to be this red line. I'm going to control scale it a bit, because I think the rotation should do the same. Once we start getting into it from here, we want to be very explosive with how fast we rotate. So I'm actually going to pull this a bit and make this nice and soft, so it gets explosive, and it's not going to slow down until we land. So this one should actually be a free tangent again, handle type free, like this. I think it's nice. Let's see. Yeah, that's better. Now it doesn't ease into the rotation or ease out. It just goes into it and then it stops abruptly. Very abruptly, actually. Maybe it should be more. Maybe like this. Yeah, I think that's good. And then we stand up. And I think that's actually all we need. The last thing is when we're in midair, maybe it's weird that our feet are, straight like this. They'll probably be, going around a bit. So I think when we're in IK, we select these two heel controls here. Go to frame 6 and click I. On frame 8, we click R and Z, and we rotate up like this, which makes sense because then we are lifting off. And then on frame 9, I'm gonna click these two. R to rotate, X to, frame 8, and click I first. That's very important because we want to lock it here. So on frame 9, we will R and rotate, something like this. So we actually have the feet, falling a bit behind. And then on frame 18, we want to go back to our heels because we don't want him to land on his heels. We want him to land on his feet flat. So frame 17, click I. Frame 18, set these to 0. Both of them. Wait. There we go. So he's gonna land super powerful. That's it. So it looks a lot better now with the jump because he's going up on his toes. He has a fast spin. And he has a harsh landing. I think one more thing I want to look at actually is the way he is moving backwards. I haven't touched on that. And I think that's the... is that the set location? And you can control middle mouse drag to see it. Yeah, I think that is it. Let's just test it. Yeah, that's the forward and back. So I don't need a keyframe here. And I also want this to be a bit powerful until this point. So I will also delete the mid-air keyframe and make sure that this tangent is free so I can make him go pretty fast. Because when he's jumping backwards, so from here, click I then want the key to again be more steep, like this, so it goes pretty straight. Like this. Maybe you should even go a bit faster in the start because we exert force. Yeah, I think that's maybe even more like this, and then make this side a bit. Like this. I think that's good. So he can ease out a bit. He just needs to be pretty fast in the start. Yeah, okay. Last thing is the rotation. It seems a bit weird right now. Yeah, he's not moving backwards here already. He's doing it at this point, which is weird. So I will set this to free and this to free. Like this. Like this. Maybe more like this. I think that's good. Okay, I think I'm done. I feel done. Okay, so again, if you don't want to see all the controllers, you can go up to this one, overlays, and you can turn off bones, and then we cannot see it. So if you want to send your animation to me so I can see it and give you some feedback, it would be nice. So again, I'm gonna do a screen recording. Oh, that's the wrong clip vector. I'm gonna select all this. Wait, like this. It's not working. Why did it work earlier but not now? I'm confused. New. Oh. There we go. I'm gonna click start. I'm gonna play. Okay. So I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna post it in Discord. If you guys have any feedback you want, throw it in there. I'll help you. You can maybe tweak it a bit and resend it. Show your progress. That's usually how it works also in a production. That you get some feedback from your director, and then you tweak it, and then it gets better, and so on and so forth. And at one point, you hopefully have something that looks pretty damn good. Hopefully. Let me just. I was actually a bit annoyed with this. Because I kind of want him to move a bit further back. Because I think that would make more sense. I'm not gonna post my last time, it's too embarrassing. No, Elena, that's how you learn. Don't give up. It's okay, that's bad. Maybe it's not as bad as you might think. I think I might also want a bit more height. I just made it a bit more powerful the jump, and then I also think already here he should already be on his way back. Yeah, I think that's better. So he's jumping a bit more backwards. Yeah, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Go with. So I'm gonna record one more time. Like this. I'm gonna record this guy. Gonna start. I'm gonna play. Do a couple of takes. Nice. I'm gonna save it. Downloads. legs, back flip. I got inspired by this because someone else tried to do it one time when we just did some regular jumps. So, thank you to whoever did that. I'll post this. Let me see. I think I saw the AK but broke his foot. Yeah, there's something wrong with the rig as well. I don't know what the problem is, but it does something weird. Hey, yeah, it's not sliding. It's sliding a bit. So you probably want to delete a keyframe you have right there. But it's a lot better for sure. And then again, make sure you wait for him to rotate and to move and bend his legs until you have him straight. So the keyframes you have on these leg controls here, you want to push them a bit to the right so you don't bend them before you are at this point actually. But right now they're bent here already, so that's I think you would do. And then this looks good. This is really good. I don't know what happened. I think it's trying to connect to the foot too soon. I think if you look at on your foot here, the IK is not in 0. It probably like 0.1, 0.05 or something. And then it's trying to do both and they cannot figure out why. Let me show you here. So if I did the same, let's say I have this and I am here and I then set it to 0.3, you can see my leg also breaks because it's trying to do it a bit sooner. So you need to make sure that this is set to 0 until this point. So here it should be 0 and keyframed, and here it should be 1. Make sure you don't have values in between, that breaks the foot. I hope that makes sense. It's looking better too for feedback, it's still in progress. We used to follow, but still have a lot to learn. Thank you. It is always a work in progress. Even when you think it's done, it's not done. You're always gonna keep doing it. Yeah? Let me see. Okay, you got the foot roll going. Make sure you don't start while being on the toes. Make sure you start flat and then go down and then you jump up. And same here for you. When you're jumping, the feet are lifting before you extend it. So make sure that you have the IK on until this frame. So the feet don't move here. They start moving from here, and then the legs are still straight, the first frame, and then they bend here. And then they land, yes. And when you land, make sure you then go down in your knees so you catch the weight. I know it's super hard, guys. It takes a lot of time to get, but I've done a lot of things to get to this. And you know, the more you do it, the more you also realize, okay, there's a lot of people watching in this. You really have to look at what people do, and you have to think about how do I move when I do stuff, right? So I'm gonna render mine in 10 seconds. Sure, nice if you rendered actually. I forgot to pay the electric bill. Yeah, I guess it's very dark. Okay. Okay, so this is a good example of that you actually did wait with, see you extending, which is really good. And then you're lifting off the floor. And then you're actually waiting too long with the bent knees, I would say. But it's much better because you really feel that it's being force generated. And you got the stretch, which is working in your favor because it looks exaggerated like cartoons, right? See it again. And then there's a slight lag in these. Like if you bend them 2 frames sooner, so you don't get the like weird, oh, they're too stretchy, but that's the only thing I would say this, because it's very good this actually. And the recovery is super nice. You're going down your knees. There might be a bit, if you really want feedback with how you're landing, because you're landing straight. and that's like a gymnast perfect backflip. Usually would land with the bent torso, because you have to recover from all the force and make sure you don't fall backwards. Because if you land like this where you're straight, you will just keep going, right? That's small dynamic you can think about, but it really looks really good, I would say. Can definitely tell you've been doing a bit before. Yeah, anyone else? Just for feedback, if nothing else, I would tell you that it's a good idea, because when you get feedback, you get something to think about, and then it hopefully gets better. Haven't played around with the timings. Focus on what was going on with the feet. Okay, yeah. Yeah, just noticed the left foot. Yes, 0.6. And that's why it's all broken, right? So make sure it's on 0 until you need it again. And I know it's very confusing with the IKFK. But if you had to do it with the IK on, you would be in for a lot of... I can show you what would happen. Let me just delete all these. So let's say the IK is on all the time on both feet. And when you jump here, you have to set a keyframe here. Oh, then you have to, or maybe here as well. Then you have to move the feet, rotate them manually, and then here you also have to move them and rotate them. And then this point here switch, you have to move them again. And you see how terrible this is? And then here you have to move them again and rotate. And here you have to move them again to this frame. And then you have to set them to 0. Rotate 360. And 0 and minus 360. So now basically did the same. But if you look at the feet when I play, it's okay, but it's a lot of work where it doesn't look that good because the arc is not as nice. You can see it's crumbling here, so I'd have to again move this like this. So that's why we kind of had to do it, but I'm sorry, it's also very confusing. Oh, thanks for the feedback. No worries. It looks really good, Billis. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I hope it makes sense, guys, why we had to do that. Okay, because you have to move them manually, but if you have the FK, they're gonna follow along the entire way, which is a lot nicer. But then you of course have to do the timing thing. Uh-oh, did I ruin? No, I ruined it. When did I save it? Ball. I have to save it. Remember to save, guys. I have to. Wait. That's annoying. Just fixing it so when I open this up again, it's gonna work. And we're mostly back. Okay, almost. Great. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Oh, there's one more. Let's see. You rendered it. Let me see. Well, that's funny. Well, that's a whole movie right there. doing a preparation jump. Boy. So it's very fun. I like the story. And it's very cartoony. I think the timing is the only thing you could work on a bit. Because right now your lifting is so slow off the floor. And you have a lot of hang time. Maybe it's on purpose. But it does maybe look a tiny bit too goofy. So maybe I would jump up. And then you have the hang time maybe with the legs flailing or something. Just so it looks a bit more like it's... and then it would fall down. Kind of like the coyote thing, where it jumps out fast and then it's stuck in midair, but it's doing things, and then it falls fast. I think that could be a fun comedic effect to have. But just to have a little bit more grounded physics going on. Kind of like you have with the second jump, where it's going a bit faster. I really like the legs falling at the end. That looks really good though. Because that's like, it's going, it has some weight to it, right? That's exactly what I like to see. That's really funny. Good job, man. Recording on my phone. I hope that makes sense, because I really like it. But I think a bit more realism to the cartoon effects would make it crisp. I guess I'll just going to work on the timings. Thanks for the feedback. Much appreciated. Of course. Yeah, see, no broken feet this time. Let's go. Much better. Now it's just the timing. Move some keyframes forward. Mostly the controllers that bend your knees and your legs. So they're not bent until before you're after you're airborne, and then it should be good. Really good job. Nice that you fixed the mistakes. That's usually all the small errors. That's usually very nice that you then see it gets better and better the more you change. Yeah, the long hands. Yeah, but I like the long hang time then. I would just make it a bit more dynamic to the hang time. And then the fall maybe a bit more as well. So you jump up, then you have the hang time. Maybe the legs are flailing or something. And then you fall. I think that would be better. But you can try it and see how it looks. See. Okay, nice. I like the power. Let me see. Goes down, goes forward. Nice. Full extended before we lift off. I like it. It's really good. And nice hard landing. This is really good, actually. I think the only thing that makes this look weird is that it's on the spot. It's a perfect backflip, right? It's too perfect. You have no momentum going backwards, even though you're flailing so hard. But that's an easy fix. Otherwise, see how hard you're pushing backwards here? And then it's just going straight up. That feels a bit off. Usually you would actually move backwards. So I think I would just move the controller backwards along the Y and the feet control back to when you land. And I think it's gonna be a really good jump here. Like everything else is so good. It's just the, physics and stuff is not, like force is not calculated in. That's the only thing semi-red. But like really good animations, guys. I'm very impressed. This was a good one today. I think a lot of people did really good. And it sounds like it's a fun thing today. That people are interested in actually making a jump. Maybe I should do more parkour stuff with this rig. Then we can also use the same one every time, so it's not so confusing. I think that would be nice. Cool. Well, I'll be signing off today. If you have more, if you tweak animations and you post them, I will look at them later and give you feedback. And of course, I'll just write to you or something. But thank you guys so much for joining and writing and asking for feedback and listening. It's so nice when I can help people with stuff, because I feel like I kind of get this a bit, and I can always learn as well. You see, I also tweak my own animation all the time, and there's also more I could do with mine. It's not perfect either, right? Oh, and I can see something is... Oh, yeah, it's not on 1, it's on 0.9. There you go. Thanks for taking. It was very enjoyable. No try animation for. Well, good job then. It's hard to get into, I feel like, but once you get it, it's much more fun to play around with, and you can do so many things. So tune in next month for the animation. But I think I'm gonna do the same brick. So if everybody tried this, they know how it works. It's gonna be much easier next time. Next week is gonna be modeling. We're gonna start over with the what's it called? The schedule, the cycle of things. So modeling next week, then texturing, sculpting, animation, and we do it all over again. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a nice evening and see you guys next week. Send some more animations when you tweak them in the Discord. I will look at it. Bye bye.